Hello, are you Wise?
Yes.
And how do you say your last name?
Shampoo.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Hi, Wise Shampoo.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Maple Shampoo. I'm a dietetic student from Loma Linda, and I'll be working with you today.
Okay.
How's your day going?
I'm doing good.
Good. All right, that's good to hear. All right, so what brings you here today?
Well, I recently went to the doctor, and my doctor says that my blood pressure is a little bit high, and I'm afraid that I might have the same symptom as my dad, who recently had a heart attack.
Oh, that's sorry to hear that. How's he doing?
He's doing okay. He's recovering right now. It's just that he hasn't changed his habit. He's still doing the same things.
What kind of things? Sorry. What kind of things is he doing?
He's mostly still not eating healthier, and he's not really. He's just not really eating more of the healthier stuff.
Okay.
Mostly things with a lot of sodium in them, I could say.
Okay. All right. So it sounds you're a little bit concerned about your dad. You want him to feel better, and you're also worried about yourself. So you just want more information.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good thing that you came in today. Glad that you're worried about your health. So can you tell me a little bit, what do you know about high blood pressure?
I don't know anything about high blood pressure.
Okay. Do you know numbers or anything?
I only know. What do you mean by numbers?
They took your blood pressure when you went to the doctor?
Yes.
Do you know what your numbers are supposed to be?
I know the high is 120.
And is there another number?
That's all I know.
Okay. All right. Well, actually, you are on the right track. So usually there are two numbers when you get your your blood pressure taken. So it's a normal blood pressure is 120/80, and I see from your chart yours is, yes, like you said, a little bit higher. It's 129/78. So that's close, but we want to aim closer to 120/80. That's the normal blood pressure. Do you know? So you said you're not sure about what blood pressure means?
Yeah, I don't know what the
The
blood pressure means. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, normal blood pressure is just how hard your heart is working. So if it's too high, your heart will be working a lot harder. And this is a concern because, like you said, your dad, you could have a heart attack and other heart problems later on. That's why we want you to keep a normal blood pressure. So I do have some recommendations on how we can help you control your blood pressures. Would you be interested in hearing about them?
Yes, I would like to learn about how to control blood pressure.
All right, that's great. So you mentioned sodium, lowering sodium. That is a great way to start helping control your blood pressure so sodium is a mineral. Do you know what's found in?
I mostly heard that it is in salt.
Yes, that's correct. So sodium is found in salt, and the reason why we want to try to control your sodium intake is because if you have too much sodium, this could lead to a lot of water intake in your body. So this can lead to swelling. You'll feel kind of like tight everywhere. You'll gain weight possibly. This would also make your heart work harder. So this is why it's a concern that we should kind of address. How do you feel about working towards that goal?
I'm thinking about trying to make a change. I just don't know where to start.
That's all right. We can help you do that. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how ready are you to make a change? 10 being confident, most ready to change.
I'm going to say 7.
7? All right. Why would you say a 7 compared to like a 3?
7 is because I want to make a change, but I just don't know how to get to the 10 yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
I would say 7.
Okay. So you're ready to make a change, but you don't know how to get to that 10.
I just don't know how to get to number 10 yet.
Okay, that's great. So we will help you work towards that here. So, do you normally read food labels when you go out or to a grocery shop or anything?
No, not really.
No?
I just
Okay.
grab whatever.
Okay. Well, that's actually an important part and a great way to start. Would you like some kind of look at some?
Yeah, I'd like to know how to read the labels.
All right. So here we have an example of a food label. So important things to keep in mind are serving sizes and sodium, so in milligrams right here. So as you can see, a serving size is half a cup, but there are 4 servings in here. So if there are 55 in one serving, how would you figure out is how many is in the entire container?
So like 55 times 4?
Correct. That is a good way to start. So we have another example if you want to look at this one here. So can you tell me how many is in a serving?
It says serving size 8 crackers.
Mm-hmm.
Servings per container about 6.
Okay.
And sodium is 170 milligrams.
Okay. And so how would you get to the total amount in the container?
170 times 6.
Okay. So let's see how much sodium is in there.
1020.
1020. So yes, this is an example of a box where you might think, oh, there's only 170 milligrams. But if you ate the entire box in a setting, you'd end up with 1,000 milligrams. Does that sound like a lot to you?
Seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot. It is actually, that is a lot. So in the kind of Western diets, we actually consume a lot more sodium than that in the normal meal. Have you heard about the DASH eating plan?
I've never heard of that. DASH.
Would you like some more information about it?
Yes, I would like information about it, please.
So, okay, that's great to hear. So the DASH eating plan is actually a way to help you decide what foods you should eat to help you lower your sodium intake. So we have some handouts here. So the DASH, if you follow this DASH eating plan, you can help lower your sodium intake easily within 2 weeks. Some key points of this DASH eating plan is to choose more healthy, fresh fruit, vegetables, and whole grains. Instead of eating meat, more like bacon that have been cured or fried, you want to try leaner meats like turkey or chicken. You also want to limit salty foods, and stuff like cheese that are high in sodium, pickles, olives. Do you usually have condiments you like to use?
Mostly, I like to use ketchup and barbecue sauce.
So those are actually a little bit higher in sodium. So it's kind of best to use a little bit less, or maybe you could try your foods first and then add ketchup as you need, not just the entire packet all at once.
Okay.
Yeah. And so for the DASH eating plan, they recommend total sodium for the day as 2,300 milligrams. So
okay.
If you actually consume this box of crackers we just looked at, that's already 1,020 milligrams. So that's half of your sodium intake for the day.
Okay.
So we want to try to use fresher foods.
What if I find ketchup where it has less sodium? Is that okay? Or is it still pretty bad?
Low sodium ketchup, it's a good starting point.
Okay.
That's actually a good start.
Okay.
Alright. So do you want to make a goal for this, lowering your sodium intake? Maybe we can start with something you aim towards.
Maybe try to lower my sodium intake.
Okay. So we'll make this a goal for you. So lower your sodium intake. And so we want this to be a goal that you kind of, like something you can reach, a number that you're like, oh, I know I've reached my goal. So, like, what's a number or some way you know that you're lowering your sodium intake? Something you can reach for.
We try to lower my sodium intake by 200.
200? Okay. 200 milligrams?
Yes.
Alright. And so this is a kind of a big goal, right? Lowering 200 milligrams. So we want you to just take it easily step by step. What's a, like, smaller goal you can to get you going?
Maybe 5 grams a day? 5 milligrams a day?
Would you will that be too much work for you to track, or do you want to do it by like a week, amount in a week, or is lowering each day good
Maybe
for
like
you?
each day, maybe between 2 grams, 5 grams.
Okay, let's start with 5 grams then. Is that okay, good for you?
Yeah.
Alright, so you're going to lower it by 5 milligrams a day?
Yeah.
Alright. And you said that you want to do this. How long do you think you will reach this?
Well, I'm hoping that this goal will be reached in 2 weeks or so.
Okay. In 2 weeks. Alright. Almost forgot the most important part. So, to keep you motivated, we want you to remember to reward yourself, just to like give you that extra motivation. So is there something you like to do or something you've been wanting to buy that would keep you motivated?
Well, I do like to go to Disneyland.
Right?
Makes me feel happy.
Makes you feel happy. That's a good. How often would you go to Disneyland to keep you motivated?
Maybe like once every 2 weeks.
Okay, once every 2 weeks. Alright, so we have your first goal here. Why don't you take a look and let me know how it sounds so far. So you said you wanted to lower your sodium intake.
Yes.
And lower your sodium intake by 200 milligrams.
Yes.
Alright. And what was your starting goals?
Like 5 milligrams about each day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to reward yourself?
I'll probably go to Disneyland once every 2 weeks or so.
Alright. And you're planning to reach your goal by
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And so on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident are you on this, getting to this, like, this goal sound to you? 10 being most confident.
I was gonna say 8.
8? Okay, why do you say 8, not a 5?
Well, after you telling me about, how to reach the goal, at least I have a general idea of, now I have a goal of how to lower my sodium. It's still the problem of, like, what food should I do?
Right. Okay.
What should I eat
Foods.
in order for me to get there?
Okay. So you're saying that, like, this goal is kind of giving you, like, a kind of a roadmap?
Yes.
But to make it to a 10, you're still wanting to know what foods to focus on.
Yes.
All right, that's good. Okay, so how would you feel about doing a 1-day meal plan just to like see what a meal would look like?
I'd like to look at that first
Okay.
and think about it
All right.
later on.
Okay. I believe you filled out a food chart
Yes.
earlier. All right.
Yes.
Take a look at that, please. Thank you. All right. So it says, so for breakfast you like to eat out. So you eat out mostly. It looks like.
Yes, I mostly eat out because I don't know how to cook.
Okay. That's a lot of people don't. It's fine. there's still plenty of options for you available to lower your sodium outside. So it says here you like to eat out at Starbucks for breakfast?
Yes.
Alright, so I actually have a handout here that has like the sodium nutrition facts. Have you seen this before?
I may have seen on their menus, but I never really looked into it that much.
Yes, they have this available online or sometimes on their menus if you ask for it. It's a good idea just to keep in mind so you can actually look at how much sodium is in kind of the food you eat. So how would you feel about trying something else?
What would you suggest?
Do you like oatmeal?
Kind of.
Kind of? Is that something you'd be willing to eat, or would you like something else?
I think I would be willing to try oatmeal.
Okay. So actually they have a option here. It's a hearty blueberry oatmeal that's 125 milligrams.
Oh, okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Alright. So we have that. And you like to drink a sweet iced coffee?
Yes.
And that's actually only 10 milligrams. So right there you're only 135 milligrams, which is great. Alright, so for lunch you mentioned In-N-Out?
Yes.
Alright, so here is In-N-Out. Hand out for you. And you normally go for the double-double.
Yes.
That is, a lot of people got that. You like that, obviously. So if you look at the sodium intake, you see what number it is?
1,440.
Does that sound like a lot to you?
It sounds more than that cracker you showed me earlier.
Yes. So if you just ate the double-double with the crackers, that would be all sodium in a day. So we look for something maybe less
Yeah,
sodium?
I think we should look for something a little bit less.
Sodium. Alright, well, if you look at the hamburger, just one patty, I don't know if that's enough for you. That's only 650 grams of sodium.
Okay.
And you can still get French fries and your lemonade, which is still under the 1,440 milligrams.
Oh, okay.
Doable?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we have that, 135. Then if we add this up, have your 6 ones, so 9, 10. So total you're at 1,045. So like we said, that is still less than your double-double so far. And finally, for dinner, it says you like to eat instant ramen, instant noodle?
Yeah, because it's the only thing easy to cook.
Okay. So, actually, if you look here, you want to see how much sodium is in a block of noodles?
790 milligrams.
90. And what's the serving size for that? Half. So serving size is half a block.
Okay.
So you'd have to double that amount.
So 790 times 2
Yep.
is 1,580.
Yes.
It's actually worse than the double-double.
It is worse than the double-double. I don't know how you feel about eating half of your noodles. Probably
It seems
not.
as if I shouldn't eat it at all.
Yes. If you really wanted to, a lot of it is in the MSG that comes with the noodles. So if you wanted, you could use the noodles, but maybe make your own broth.
Okay, but yeah.
So making a broth seems difficult, but there are actually some cooking classes maybe that you'd be interested in.
I'll think about going to those classes.
Okay. But also, if you still really wanted your noodles, you could half the noodles for now.
Okay.
Does that sound doable, or?
I might just, if the cooking class I learn something, I might not even eat them.
That's a good start. Okay, so we covered your 1-day meal, kind of. So breakfast and lunch, even if you ate out, you'd still be at 1,045. And you'd still have 1,000 left for dinner. How is that sounding to you so far?
Sounds pretty good.
All right. So another great thing we could do is kind of track your sodium intake. Have you heard of any apps for tracking sodium?
No, I don't know any apps at
Okay.
all.
Well, I have one right here for you. You can find it on your app store, but this is just on my phone here. So this is the sodium tracker app. So right here you can actually put in your maximum amount of sodium. Do you remember what number we were saying for the DASH eating plan?
I am sort of not really remember. I forgot what you said. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. So it's we want to aim for 2,300 milligrams.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you can actually put your max here, 2,300, and then you can actually log in your food. So if you want, I'll show you an example here. So we adding that. So we said the hamburger with onions, so I could write that in, hamburger with onions, and the amount of sodium. What does it say?
650.
650. All right. So it tells you right there you consumed 650 milligrams, and you have 1,650 milligrams left. All right. Would you like to try one?
Yes.
We'll just add right there, and here we have the blueberry oatmeal that we mentioned before. So if you want to write the name in first. Okay. And then you can put how much sodium is in that.
2.5. Okay.
Okay. And then just add that in.
Done.
Save. There you go. So
we have 1,525 milligrams to go. Or remaining.
Remaining. Okay. How does tracking your sodium sound?
I think that would be helpful with trying to lose the 5 grams of sodium a day.
Okay. So we can make that a goal maybe to work towards?
Yeah, I think that's
quite
helpful.
Track our sodium intake. Alright. And what's a goal? How often can you track your sodium intake, you say? What's a goal you want to?
I kind of want to try to commit myself to track it every day.
Every day, every meal, or how many meals per day?
I would try to say all three meals.
Okay. All meals every day. Right. So remember, we want to start something doable first. We don't want you to oh my God, I have to do all this at once. So what's a good starting point for you?
You mean like?
Would it be easier to track 1 or 2 a day, or a week, or
maybe like 2 days?
2 days? You can start with 2 days. So every meal 2 days?
Yeah.
Or 2 days a week? Okay. Every meal 2 days a week. Okay. Again, we should remember to reward ourselves. Is there something else you'd like to do?
I would like to maybe go to the beach.
Go to the beach? Beach is not good weather. Should go to the beach. It's really hot right now. How often would you go to the beach?
I mean, once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks? Sounds good. 2 weeks. And so you want to track your sodium intake for all your meals. When do you want to reach this goal by?
Maybe after 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. After 2 weeks. Alright. So this is the goal we have so far. Sorry, my handwriting's a little messy. So we're going to track our sodium intake. And so your goal is to track all your meals every day, but you're gonna start with 2 meals for 2 meals twice a week.
Uh-huh.
Alright, and you're gonna reward yourself by going to a beach every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Alright, and then you're going to try to reach your goal after 2 weeks.
Yes.
Alright, how does this goal sound to you? How confident are you to make this change on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being most confident.
Let's say it's still an 8.
An 8? Well, why do you say an 8 and not a 4?
Well, actually, I'm gonna change the 8 to a 9
Okay.
because now I have a general idea of how to look for sodium, looking at nutrition facts, how to, you said there was a cooking class, so maybe I'll look into it
Okay.
and go and see, maybe learn how to cook. And you also told me about alternatives to maybe, how to eat food, but less. I can still go out to eat. It'll just be less sodium.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned, how to use the app to keep track. So I would say a 9.
And what would put you at the 10?
I'd say mostly like kind of maybe like what other kinds of salt that are like a healthier salt per se.
All right. Okay, so it sounds like you kind of gone over a lot of resources, but you still are looking for a little bit more like specifics on like specific lower sodium things you could try.
Yes.
Okay, we can go over that. All right, here. So I actually have some suggestions for you. So some things you could look for, like if you said like soy sauce, you can actually look for the green cap ones. Those are low sodium soy sauce, so that's one alternative you could try. Some other things you could look for right here. So these are some. You heard of Mrs. Dash?
Yes.
So that's actually a lower salt alternative you can start with. Here are some other ones you could try. Look for containers that say like the low on them.
The what now?
It says low on them.
Low sodium?
No, low salt.
Oh,
low sodium,
okay.
yes. Also try to use more like fresh herbs and spices.
Okay.
How are you feeling about this?
It feels a little bit better. It's just the fresh herbs. It's just sometimes most markets don't have a lot of options for fresh herbs. They have the more in the packed.
Oh, okay. So yes, you can actually herbs if they're dried, you can still use them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're still a good option. Just avoid salt. Kind of salt is higher in sodium, so if you use any kind of herbs, those are a lot less. You'll still get a lot of flavor, and you don't have to worry about the high amount of sodium.
Okay.
Actually, at the Loma Linda, they're having cooking classes. Like we talked about, you're interested possibly in trying them?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
All right. Would you like me to set you up with them? Maybe they can set you up. They have a lot of dates available and times.
I'll think about it. I'll have those dates, but
Okay.
I'll think about when which one I want to go.
So I'll give him your information, and I can give you some more information if you like.
Okay.
All right. Information about class. Okay. All right. And did you have any more questions, concerns?
If I went to this class, do they have like maybe a book or something that has like books on how to cook or whatever? So maybe next time I can, cook my own.
Yes.
Or learn how to cook my own. Like
yes.
they have recipes that,
Yes. So Yes, they will. I believe they do hand out some recipes for you. They'll actually do a demo for you, and then you get to taste the food and see if it's to your liking. If other alternatives you could try also.
Okay.
All right. Did you have any more questions or concerns I can help you with today?
No, that's it.
Okay. So we went over a lot, so I'm just going to briefly go over kind of what we talked about today. So you came in because you were worried about your a little bit elevated blood pressure, and you're concerned about or ways that you could also help your dad.
Yes.
So some goals we talked about, right, were
Yes.
to lower your sodium intake, how you're going to work towards that, and you want to achieve that by 2 weeks.
Yes.
And another goal was to track your sodium.
Yes.
For every meal, but you just start for 2 meals. Every meal, but twice a week.
Yes.
And you're going to try to complete this in 2 weeks also.
Yes.
Okay. So you can take these goals with you. It'll help you memorize, kind of like something to keep in mind. So this is a lot of information and a lot. So if you feel overwhelmed a little bit by it.
A little bit, yeah, it's a little overwhelming.
Okay. I don't want you to panic or like stress yourself out about this because that can raise your blood pressure. So just take it one step at a time. If you can't complete it, don't worry about it. At our next meeting, we can figure out other ways we can help you get to your goals. All right. So I believe you wanted your goals after 2 weeks. How would you feel about meeting again in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'd like to meet after 2 weeks. See how it goes.
Okay, so that would be August 11th. And the same time work for you?
Yes.
Okay, so I will sign you up for that, and we will get you more information about the cooking class.
Okay.
All right, thank you for coming in today, Wise.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, have a good day.
You too.